right, video 3, supplies, take 1.
So about 6 months ago, Josh came to me and asked me if I'd be willing to film another class for the School of Traditional Skills. I've already done a pressure canning class over there, and he asked me if I would go ahead and teach on freeze drying, because you guys know I love my freeze dryers. I use them all the time, and I'm actually writing a freeze dryer book through Homestead Living Publishers. I went ahead and said yes, so here we are actually filming. The day is here. We've done a lot of prep work, and there's a lot of cameras and a lot of people, and it's a lot of focus right on me, which is kind of hard and makes me feel self-conscious. Let's talk about the supplies that you're going to need to get started freeze drying. Now, of course, the first supply that we should probably talk about is your freeze dryer, but that has a lot of different things we need to cover with that, so we're going to cover that in the next lesson. Let's talk about the other supplies that you might need. Well, first of all, you just need your regular old kitchen tools, especially a really sharp knife and a good cutting board. You're going to be using that a lot when it comes to freeze drying. When we started Homesteading Family, I was one of those people who would leave the room if I heard my voice on an answering machine. I did not like hearing myself recorded. I definitely did not want to be on video. In fact, Josh and I decided early on we would not do any video, especially on social media. Well, then here I am, right? We got comfortable with the camera a little bit, and I got comfortable with filming myself. But when you're filming yourself, when it comes to just normal videos for Homesteading Family, a lot of times it's me and a camera, and I'm in the kitchen, or me and maybe one other person holding the camera, and I'm in the kitchen. It's not all of this, which is a lot of people and a lot of lights and a lot of attention just focused right at me. So this is 3 full days of filming from 9 to 5. It is exhausting. I have a lot more respect for movie actors than I've ever had before, because this is exhausting work to be on camera and on so much of the time. But there's also a lot of prep work that goes into it, because you don't actually have time to run the freeze dryers and run the food in the amount of time we have to film the classes. So that means that I had to have food prepared in every single stage of its journey through the freeze dryers. So I had to have it raw, and have it pre-chopped, and have it pre-frozen, and have it pre-freeze dried, and have it pre-packaged. And so we had spreadsheets in the house that were totally color-coded with 5 different colors, trying to figure out if we had all of the food done in all the different stages to be able to actually film this in a 3-day period. It's really intensive, and it's a lot of work. And it's fun to do every so often, but I would not want to do this all the time. Let me go back to the garden. The world of freeze drying is huge, and you can get into freeze drying all sorts of different things. Default kind of is, if you eat it, you can probably freeze dry it. But there are a few caveats. So what items can you not freeze dry? So after Josh and I started Homesteading Family, we realized really quickly that there were a lot of things that we weren't going to be able to teach. And we really wanted to be able to help people be successful in their homesteading journey and not flounder around and waste the amount of time that we actually wasted when we were starting our homestead, just trying to find practical information that really worked. But there's only so many things that I have gotten a high enough proficiency at to be able to teach, and the same thing for Josh. But we knew there were all of these homesteading experts out there who just knew their subject just so well, and they just needed help getting their message out and being able to share it with other people. And so we realized that was a place that we really needed to do something a little different than Homesteading Family, which is really just Josh and I connecting with people, and open that knowledge up to other instructors. And that's why we started the School of Traditional Skills. So of course, we needed to bring in a film crew who would be able to film these really high quality classes in really changing and crazy environments that can happen out on the homestead while traveling all over the place to these different experts' locations.
We're so blessed to have the guys we have filming with STS, and we found them just through mutual connection. And on the first shoot for STS, which we did right here with Carolyn in Canning, back in, gosh, what was that? March of 2022. Wow. It's been a little while now. After working with them just for a day, we knew that they were not only great camera guys, super professional and good at doing the work that we wanted to get done, they just were a good fit with our team and great guys to work with. So this film crew, when we found them, they had done quite a bit of in-studio educational filming, but they didn't know anything about the homesteading world, about traditional skills. They weren't practicing anything themselves, and really it was all brand new. So I think it was really mind-blowing to them. You know, I think they've been on quite a journey now filming for it's actually been 2 years now that we've been working together and filming, and it's been fun to see their minds open up and their lives change and some of the things they've been doing and taking on some of these skills.
It's definitely changed my perspective on where I live and what I'm doing. And I got chickens, and Jacob and I have been talking about getting a piece of land so we can raise meat chickens. Pretty sure we're going to start looking into doing bees.
We do bone broth. We're religious about bone broth now.
Bone broth.
Only buy whole chickens.
Started fermenting,
Yep.
making our own sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut. Made pickles, but something went wrong. That was bad.
I've been homesteading about 9.5 years. We did what everybody does. We followed, Justin Rhodes or Joel Salatin and, read their stuff or watched their stuff and learned that way. But having the classes laid out, I'm just feeling like I'm learning new skills all the time. And I have like that step-by-step process so that now it's not just kind of make it up as I go.
We've always done a lot of like corporate or business type video, and it's funny, we still joke because we have clients in like the health sector that are not traditional skills based. So we always like to balance out our good homesteading stuff with some good pharmaceuticals. Being a part of this has really changed our lifestyle a lot. We're renting, we're at home in a small yard in a city setting, so we can't do things like chickens and things like that. But we've been able to make a lot of lifestyle adjustments in other areas where we're sourcing our meat and goods from, just finding all that pastured stuff, meeting with farmers to buy stuff locally as well, and kind of made as many shifts and adjustments in that area as we can. And so it's made a huge impact on our health for sure.
So what video is this, Carolyn?
This is
She's
video
just talking
4.
to it. We're gonna be
Oh,
on
yes.
this later.
And this, I'm just going to stand here at first and just kind of talk about the machine in general and about the different size options and a few things like that for the machine, and talk about the volume that each one holds.
Yeah.
I love these projects so much. Getting to be in the presence of some of these instructors is just phenomenal. I can't believe the people that I've gotten to meet. Just getting to see people who live a very different life than I do, it gives me a lot of hope that it's something that I could get into, in a different chapter. It's really taught me a ton of things that I can do living my life in a city like Nashville. I've fermented at this point, and I'm starting gardens in the spring, and bone broth. Sally Fallon Morell's class was just clutch. So good.
All right, video 4, freeze dryer, take 1.
Let's talk about the most important supply when it comes to freeze drying, and that's your freeze dryer. Now, freeze dryers come in all sorts of different makes and models, and there's a lot of different sizes. The Harvest Right brand has the longest track record for home freeze dryers, and that's what we use. So that's what I have on hand today. Does that make any sense? Did that make sense?
Yeah, it made sense, but you're sounding a little timid and unsure.
It could only be the 4 cameras pointed at me, and in all the faces. All right, let's talk about one of the most important supplies when it comes to freeze drying, and that's your freeze dryer. Freeze dryers come in all different brands, makes, models, and all different sizes.
Anytime you get a major project like this going, it takes a lot of initial investment, a lot of what we call sweat equity. It's the same thing on the homestead, right? Getting a homestead up and running, always have the money you want to put into everything. And even if you do, it still just takes a lot of sweat equity. And so when we got STS going, for me, it took a lot of travel because I had to be on set to just establish what we were doing, make sure we were catching, the content the way we wanted to, the educational content the way Carolyn had designed it. and just really building a team. And so, yeah, for the first year and a half, I had to travel, and I was gone. I think we figured it out, and I was gone, I think 4 months out of the first 12 months, if not 5 months. It was a lot. And it was hard. It was hard on me personally, on my physical health, but it was really hard on the family and just the time away from home. We hadn't had to live that way. Running Homesteading Family, obviously, we were just getting to do everything, getting to do what we love, live our life, and film here at home and be together with family. And so it was a sacrifice, but we knew it. We knew it going into that. It was going to be a sacrifice to build something and create something like this, working with other instructors to try to bring, so much value to the homesteading world. And so while it was really hard, it was really worth it. And thankfully, the family, Carolyn, and particularly the kids who weren't necessarily invested in it the way Carolyn and I are, have been very supportive. Now we've gotten a role. Our team has grown. We've got a lady named Carly Russell who is directing now all of the production and all of the classes. And so she's taken the load off of me, and we get to be home more and get to be back to doing more things on the homestead. And that's a joy as well.
This is the real star of the show, homemade lattes.
Great, and then the last thing is right here.
What are we doing? What are we doing this for?
We have marketing footage that we need, and this is part of it.
Okay.
And then you just look right here at this camera.
Serious? Smiling?
Serious.
No.
Yep, just like that.
Sorry.
Now you. But that's the smiling we want to do.
Yeah, that's hard to go backwards.
Take a deep breath.
Serious. Okay.
Boom. Good. Thank you.
Got it. That's hard.
Yeah.
We are filming some extra footage for marketing for school traditional skills, and we don't usually get to do this stuff with our instructors, so this is really fun.
You're going to want to get them in position with everybody out of here with the drone. I don't know how close you can come in, but if you can come in.
We decided that on ground camera footage was most important, so we're going to do that first, and then see if we can get the drone over
If you can get some drone, wow, that'd be
It'd
cool.
be beautiful.
Fun stuff.
Aaron, pretend you're cooking something.
Fire right here.
Remember that one time? Oh man.
How big that rack was.
Yeah, that was gnarly. What?
The camera would be a cool shot, like a picture. That's a video camera, Rachel.
What? But if it was a photography camera, whatever you call them, it would be a cool shot. Except for it keeps going out of focus.
Is this your first time operating a cinema camera?
Yes.
Can you tell?
If you're not familiar with STS yet, the School of Traditional Skills, or you're interested in freeze drying, this class is just about to come out in the school, and so I'd really encourage you to check it out. We'll drop you a link in the video down below to come sign up, learn a little bit more, and there's also going to be some free training, so you can find out more about all of that through that link down below.